I am Sekhar Chakrabarti. I pursue vexillology, one of the newest pursuits. Vexillology is study of flags. Today, I will be speaking of the evolution of Indian flag. Flags played an important part in the human life from the beginning of recorded history. The earliest reference of flag in India we found in the Vedas, written about 5,000 years back. In Vedas, flags were known as Ketu. In Ramayana and Mahabharata, we have seen many kings and princes, each one having their own distinctive dhwaj or banner, decorated with different motifs or emblems. Before, I should say, French Revolution, there was no national flag. It was monarchy, not the people in general who had a flag. With the growth of nationalism, flag became global. Today there is no country in the world which doesn't have a flag. Flag has become the most solemn symbol of country. In India, it will be difficult now to assess the birth of national flag preceded with many experiments, intense debates, and raising controversies. In the beginning of 19th century, when our national leaders fired with the spirit of Indian independence, they realized the necessity of discovery of a national flag for India. Many tentative essays surfaced at that time. The flag in vogue, that is the Union Jack, charged at the start of India, had no appeal whatsoever to the general public. Now with these words, I will come to my topic of today, that is evolution of Indian flag. We start with beginning of flag essays, the important one, because of the time constraints, I have to take up only the important and which has got, according to me, I love the subjects, only those I will be talking about here with some certain illustrations from my own book. It was Rajnarayan Basu who first thought for an Indian symbol, a lotus. In his book, Vidya Hindu Asha, that is hope of an old Hindu's hope, he suggested lotus should be our national flag, national symbol. But it remained in the book only. There was no, I have not seen or any record of using that symbol in any kind of flag or any other items or artifacts. The first serious attempt of flag making came from, interestingly, Sister Nivedita out of mission activities. In 1904, she made a visit to Buddha Gaya accompanied with Rabindranath Tagore, Jagadish Chandra Bose, Abala Bose, and others. In Buddha Gaya, seeing a Vajra symbol, she immediately catch the idea and took Vajra as a symbol for Indian national flag. I will show you that one. This is what Sister Nivedita conceived an idea of Vajra flag while visiting Buddha Gaya, and she made a flag. This flag was made by her students, girl students, and you will see Vajra in center and Vande Mataram written in between the Vajra in Bengali scripts. This flag was displayed in 1906 in the Congress session, but it was never carried in any rally. This very old flag, after restorations, now is kept in Jagadish Chandra Bose Museum, and it is anybody can go visit the museum and see this flag in actual form. I believe this is the oldest surviving flag of India. Now, Sister Nivedita, while designing this flag, she wrote an article in Modern Review in 1909. And according to the scholars, that article must be the very first printed article on our flag making. I'll read out from my book the relevant beginning chapter of Sister Nivedita's article. The question of the invention of a flag for India is beginning to be discussed in the press. The article was named "The Postal as a National Flag." Those who contemplate the desirability of such a symbol, however, seem to be unaware that already a great many people have taken up and are using the ancient Indian postal or thunderbolt in this way. When we look at all that, a national banner means we see the utter impossibility of manufacturing or devising such an emblem. So, Sister Nivedita, she made it, she displayed it, but it was never carried in. In the very next year, Lord Curzon declared partition of Bengal, which immediately sparked a big protests all over India. And there was a call for boycott of foreign goods. And the next very year, 1906, on the first anniversary of Boycott Day, this is the very first Swadeshi flag used in India, designed by Sukumar Roy and Shochibilas Ghosh. It was made by Sukumar Roy's sister, Kumudini Basu. There is some mistake in these illustrations. The green should have been come on top and the red color at the bottom. This evolution of the national flag displayed was presented to me by Mani Bhavan, Bombay. It was where Gandhi stayed for a few days, and now it has become Gandhi Sangrahalaya. It is their flag. The flag was hoisted on 7th of August 1907. Next very year, Madame Kammer in Germany, Stuttgart, hosted another flag in an international conference. There she didn't hoist it, she waved a flag which is very similar to the flag which was made in Calcutta a year back. And it is, according to scholars, must have designed by someone who has seen this Calcutta flag. And it was in all probability Hemchandra Kanungo, who was present in Calcutta, who was a member of Secret Society, Anushilan Bhavan, Anushilan Shamiti. He must have and went to Paris to learn bomb making, and came in contact with Madame Kammer, must have made this flag for Madame Kammer. Now, Hemchandra, being a member of the Anushilan Shamiti, as per their practice, never claimed that it was he who designed this flag. But I have read Hemchandra Kanungo's biographies. Most of us biographers believe it was made by Hemchandra Kanungo himself. And this flag was never used in India. It was used only in France, Germany and England. Now, I have talked about the first anniversary of boycott or partition of Bengal. Partition of Bengal was in 1911, when India's capital shifted from Calcutta to Delhi. From that time onward, this flag came into disuse. The flag which was used in 1906, popularly known as Calcutta flag, boycott flag or Vande Mataram flag. Thereafter, there was a gap till 1917 when Dr. Annie Besant, for her Home Rule movement devised another flag which looked like this. Now in this flag, interestingly, you will see there are 7 stars placed in the configuration of Saptadishis. The flag was devised in consultation with Tilak, then Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Wadia. This flag also had a small Union Jack on the right corner. The placement of this Union Jack was not taken kindly by the Indian people, and this flag failed to create any enthusiasm. Interestingly, again, this flag was also hoisted for the first time in Calcutta in 1917 in the Flag Congress. From 1917, we'll go to 1921. Here is another college student, Pingali Venkaya by name. He formed a flag society and brought out a small illustrative literature designing about 24 flags for India and relentlessly persuading Mahatma Gandhi to adopt one as a national flag. I'll show you the designs of Pingali Venkaya. Few of his designs prepared by Pingali Venkaya. But none of this flag could enthuse Gandhi. What Gandhi said about these flags and what he suggested, then again I will read out from my book again. Mr. P. Venkaya of the National College, Machilipatnam, has for some years placed before the public suggestion booklet describing the flags of other nations and offering designs for an Indian national flag. But whilst I have always admired the persistent zeal with which Mr. Venkaya has prosecuted the cause of a national flag at every session of the Congress for the last 4 years, he has never able to enthuse me. In his designs, I saw nothing to stir the nations to its depths. So, it tantamounts that Pingali Venkaya's flag designs, individually, whatever he designs, are all turned down. Then, a very simple flag, he again prepared for approval of Gandhi. It was green, bicolor flag, green over red. Green for the Muslims and red for the Hindus. Gandhi thought that with his mature thought, he added a white band on top of the green one, that is white, green and red. Mind it was red, not saffron of those days. But Lala Hansraj of Jalandhar, he first suggested using the Gandhi's tool, that is chalk on top of it, symbolizing the Indian toiling masses. Gandhi immediately approved the suggestion and asked Pingali Venkaya to make a flag showing a charkha touching all the 3 colors. This flag was hoisted for the first time in Ahmedabad Flag Congress in 1921. You see white on top, green in between. This should be red. In this picture it looks like saffron, but it should be red. And a green charkha touching all the 3 colors. This was, with this Gandhi's approval, it was used in every Congress meeting, sessions, rallies, etc. It was not, of course, officially accepted flag for the Congress. The interpretations of the colors of this flag in terms of the communal interpretations, I should say, was not liked by many. The Sikhs in particular, Punjab region, they wanted a Sikh color also should be incorporated in this flag. There was silent demand from the Parsis, from the Christian communities. They also wanted to have representations of their colors, which is not possible to accommodate all these colors for all these. And from time to time, objections was raised for this flag. Even Jawaharlal Nehru, he also didn't like the white on top because it looks like almost the Bulgarian national flag of that time. Facing these objections, in 1931, Congress Working Committee decided to form a seven persons committee to go through the objections and devise a new flag for use as a national aspiring nation. The committee devised this all saffron flag with the charkha at the corner. This is absolutely diagonally opposite or whatever flags were being used in those days in vogue. It was a total departure from those flags, and it was not again approved. It remained in the drawing board only. It never saw the light of day. But in many flag books, this flag is also shown as an essay, but it was in the drawing room only. It was never used. So in that same year, 1931 was a very eventful year for the flags historians, because in the same year Congress Working Committee devised the Purna Swaraj flag, which changing the color disposition. Here what you see, the saffron became, the red became saffron, white came in between, and the green became top. And the meaning of the colors were not interpreted in terms of communal or religion. It was, the meaning was attached philosophical meanings, the saffron for courage, white for peace, green for our connections with the Mother Earth. This flag was used from 1931 to 1947. And interestingly, in Quit India movement, this flag acquired tremendous power. It became a passport for courage and achievement. Netaji Subhash Bose, when he formed INA, and INA was from outside India trying to make India free, they also adopted this flag, but for the Azad force, Subhash Bose substituted charkha with a springing tiger. But this is the flag he hoisted in Andaman in December 1943, and this is the flag also hoisted by the INA soldiers at Manipur. In 1947, in the month of February, I think, I forgot the exact date, British Parliament decided to transfer the power to the Indian leaders. And Lord Mountbatten was specially sent to India as a new viceroy and governor general. In Mountbatten, with the discussions with the Indian leaders, he found it out that India has to be partitions, as the two nations will come out, as Pakistan and India, and he wanted that both these countries should have something on their flag which will carry the continuity with the British even after their independence. So he himself designed a flag, Mountbatten. Interestingly, he designed two flags, one for Pakistan and another for India. Here is for Indian flag. You can see the charkha flag and on top corner there is British flag symbolizing our connections with British Commonwealth. Gandhi accepted this proposal, Mountbatten's proposal. He said nothing doing. And what he wrote, what he said in press, let me again read it out. Regarding the protest against Viceroy's proposal to include a small Union Jack in the Indian flag, Hindu on 19 July 1997, after 50 years, reported that Gandhi had remarked, nothing wrong in that as long as India was a dominion included in the British Commonwealth, such a display would be an act of courtesy and a gesture worthy of the best traditions built up in India. It was Gandhi's statement. But other Congress leaders, they thought it was too much of concessions is being given to Mountbatten, and they said, no, nothing doing. We will not have the British Union Jack on our flag for the free India. And this is for the first time Gandhi and Mountbatten jointly failed to convince our people to have this flag, to have Union Jack on our flag. Then again, as I said, in February 1947, British government decided for transfer of power, and that time the existing national flag, which was being used, the Charter flag, it became almost synonymous with the Congress flag. And it was a demand that there should be another committee to decide that a new flag for Indian independent India. Then again, nine-member flag committee was formed, headed by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. And most of the committee members, this is the flag. Of course, they decided, and the flag is in use even today. Most of the committee members were veterans of the Congress Party. So what they did, they have made it token changes from the Charkha to Chakra. The Chakra, while deciding, many chakras were thought of, many suggestions came, but Ashoka Chakra was favored. From searching of records, I could find the very first suggestion of having Ashoka Chakra on our flag came from S.D. Kalelkar of Nagpur. He wrote an article in Horizon in July 1947 under the title A Thoughtful Suggestion. There he suggested that instead of cumbersome Gandhi's tool, Charkha, we should have a round circular emblem which will be seen from both sides. It will be identical and similar. There will be even the mirror image will not be different, which was earlier the problem was there. It is also suspected that Ambedkar was one of the members of the flag committee who, after a few years, embraced Buddhism and also came out from Congress Party, formed his own party, Republican Party. It is suspected that perhaps it was Ambedkar who influenced the other committee members for the Ashoka Chakra. But there is no document, there is no minutes of the meeting. Most of the leaders were too busy about for the preparations of our independent transfer of power. And I will show you Ambedkar's some design. You see, here is Ambedkar. Ambedkar's party adopted a flag, a blue flag, having the Ashoka Chakra, white Ashoka Chakra in it. So it suggests it must be Ambedkar. But again I said, for want of any documents, it cannot. We can only speculate, but we cannot absolutely in a confirmed term that it was there. Then this flag was made by Badruddin Taibji for Nehru. Many people say Badruddin Taibji designed this present flag. It is not so. Her husband was a joint secretary in the Constituent Assembly. When he came to know that Ashoka Chakra has been decided for the national flag, she made a flag and presented it to Jawaharlal Nehru, which Nehru used in his car. With this, briefly, end of the evolution of our flag. Now I will come on certain other issues. on 15th August, that on that eventful day, flags were hoisted as in national capitals. The main program was organized in the Council House, now known as Parliament House or Lok Sabha building, as well as thereafter in the Government House, what we know now today is the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It is on 15th August, these two flags were hoisted with much fanfare. And in the next morning, on 16th August, another flag was hoisted on the red flag, where Jawaharlal Nehru said that it was dream of Netaji Subhash Bose to make India free and hoist the flag on the red for the seat of power. And it was decided that all these three flags will be preserved in a national museum. But unfortunately, when the search began to find it out, all these flags, nothing, all the flags were found not traceable. Many newspaper clippings, reports came that the first three historical flags are now missing. People forget to keep it properly, hand it over to the National Museum or read for authorities, or even the archives. Nothing happened. All the original flags are not to be found. While talking about Delhi's the important flags, in Madras, the very first flag, which was hoisted at Fort St. George, they have kept it till date. This is the flag, and they have put this mark that the first Indian national flag hoisted on 15th August 1947 at Fort St. George, Madras, now Chennai. There is no restrictions to visit this museum and see the flag itself. On 15th August, another interesting thing happened. Amidst partition blue, there is the newspapers. Very interesting newspapers came out on that day. Newspapers, usually people used to see in black and white. But on that day, almost all the national newspapers came out, their first page was printed in color. Here is one example I can show. See, this is Anandavaja newspaper. Same thing happened with Times of India, Jugantar, another Bengali paper, and you name it, Amritvaja paper, National Herald. All these papers, the first page was printed in color. In those days, it's a kind of, we can say, technological marvel to print newspaper in color format. Before I close, I'll say the last word about chakra. You'll see, it is, though it's a Buddhist symbol with 24 spokes, symbolizing 24 principal aspects of Buddhism. You see, no, this way, there is rest in the center and movement in the circumference. So, movements in the circumference, rest in the centers. That is, unity in the center, diversity in the circumference. That means unity in diversity. This chakra represents unity in diversity. But this is, I believe, mostly hindsight. It was not at that time. Nobody thought in that particular fashion that this symbolizes unity in diversity. This is something new. And here is my last slide. We all in Calcutta cannot do anything without Rabindranath Tagore. His famous poem from Noibagdu, Tomaro Pataka Jarido, Tarido Bohimari Shakati. And a postal stamp was released with these themes that today's child will be the standard bearer tomorrow. It's a very aptly designed, I must say. It's a wonderfully designed that today's child will be the standard bearer of tomorrow. So I wish our children will learn more about our Indian flag. They will know how to give respect to this flag, and to honor this flag, they will make themselves a better citizen. Thank you very much. Thank you, Indian Museum, for giving me this opportunity for this talk. Thank you again.